Gary, recording, get out of the way.
I really can't talk, but Steve was a very good person, a good man. He has helped out so much. Anything I've asked him to do, he's done the best of his ability. He's a very honest person, one of the most honest people that I've ever been around. And I want to thank the God for letting me know Steve for the 30 years that I have known him. And he's been really good to me for 30 years, helping out. Anybody that wants to have something up here to say, please come up and say it. And you can talk as long as you want, but I'm cutting mine short. I could just go on and on and on and on about the things we've done, the roads we've been down, over several states, doing tables, just doing everything. And he's gone now. But I do appreciate him being here for the length of time that I met him in the mid-90s. Anybody else that's got anything to say, please come up. Okay.
I love Steve. He's good. And me. I love him. I love him. And he's good.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, I know it's hard to say anything that you don't know, but I'm going to have to say Steve was like a son to us. He was a son because he said he called us mom and daddy. And I'll tell you what, I didn't feel like no mom and daddy. I thought I was still young. But anyway, he is at our beck and call, and we was there to him if he ever needed something. But he loved all of y'all. And I want everybody to know how good he was. And I know y'all know that. But please, somebody come up and talk. I mean, say how you feel. It don't matter. But anyway, thank you, and God bless you, Steve. We love you. You're still around. I see you looking at us.
Okay, I'm taking donations for anybody that wants to help out on the funeral arrangement. It's $3,210 is the total amount, and this is a symbol here, this urn. They're going to actually put the ashes in it later the week because they couldn't get it done by now. But they did send this over here for you to look at. And so, thank you very much. If anybody wants to donate something, they can do it to me, and I'll put their name on it. Thank you.
I'm not somebody who normally ever does this kind of thing, so just kind of bear with me. As for Steve, I think he was one of the first people to have ever believed in any kind of skill that I've ever had. He was more like a father to me, as well as my own father. And I believe, as everybody else in this room knows, that he did love everybody. We were all really close to him in his eyes. You could see the light in his eyes whenever he looked at every single one of us. And I think, well, everybody should just honor that as much as you possibly can.
I know y'all not bashful.
You don't have to use a microphone. You can say whatever wherever you are.
A single word to describe Steve and a lot of things that he did is grace. On the pool table, in his work ethic, and in his dealings with everyone at any given time. One of the biggest hearts I've ever seen. Even while he has a stent in his chest and he can barely lift 20 pounds and he's asking me to do trash for him, here I am lifting a 350-pound piece of slate, and this dude just comes up and tries his best and, risking literal life and limb just trying to make sure that he can put his best foot forward, and it speaks volumes. I'm sure everybody's received something and has given something back for anything he's done. I honestly, there's very few people I've broken bread with as many times as Steve. Morning breakfast, nights, going to get each other food while we're working off and on. I mean, just a beautiful soul through and through. And I think that's something we can all agree on. And if you can, just remember some of his best moments that you shared with him, and take the time to grieve his loss.
I don't know if anybody here remembers my great uncle Moose. He used to come in here every weekend, and he'd be in here dancing and singing and calling everybody baby, hey baby. And we all loved him very much. But Steve really looked out for him every weekend he was here, and he was mentally handicapped, couldn't drive, so he'd walk here every weekend on Saturday without fail, every weekend, and he'd get drunk and get a little too drunk sometimes. And most of the time, Steve would take him home and make sure he got it home okay. And my mom came in here when she was a teenager, and they had live music playing. She used to sing in here. My whole family loves Steve and knows Steve. I've been coming in here since longer than I should say. But I was a teenager coming in here, and Steve really looked out for me as a kid and looked out for me up until now. And I'm going to miss him a lot. My family misses him a lot. And we love you, Steve.
Hey guys, share a little testimony of my experience with Steve, man. I've known him for like 20 years, and over the last 10 to 5 years, that's when we really were close. I was kind of a resident here for the last 5. Yeah, you can say I kind of lived here. I didn't change my address, but, he really looked after me. We got really close. During COVID, when it was closed down, I started up my little business for up here. It's called Goober Eats. I was uninsured, so I wasn't Uber. I'd go and get people food up here and, get him food all the time. But one of the coolest things, I needed a place to take a shower. I don't think Mr. Green has a shower up here, but sink only goes so far. But he would tell me, and his roommate Lisa, it was funny because he would tell me, go down there, but don't tell Lisa. He'd give me the keys. I'd walk across the street and I'd go take a shower. I'd come back all refreshed and clean. And it'd be funny because he wouldn't be working that day, and I'd need to take a shower or something like that, and Lisa'd be working. And she'd be like, here's keys, go over and take a shower, just don't tell Steve. And that went on for about, I don't know how many months. I think until they moved into the new apartment, But, dude, that hard to go. It shines so bright, it brought all y'all here. On the pool table, it was amazing. He was gifted. But the biggest gift he had was that big old heart he had. He wasn't afraid to help out those in need. Sometimes he helped out a little too much. But that's just how big that heart was. But yeah, man, God bless him. I'm going to miss him.
I didn't mean to drop the mic. I'm going to say something real quick. And I've known Steve for a lot of years. I started really coming out to football 2003-ish, 2018, 17, 19. Steve was always here. This man lived and breathed for this football, Matt and Carolyn, everybody that played up here. He loved this game. A lot of times he jeopardized his health for this game in this place. He absolutely loved everybody that came here and showed true interest in the game. I couldn't beat him in a tournament for nothing. Couldn't beat him for any money for anything. But he let me win league just so I can get a couple handicap points in. So my team can at least say they tried to win, I guess. I never really butted heads with Steve about nothing. He's just that type of guy. No matter how drunk I was, no. Trust me, y'all know I've been there drunk quite a few times. When I should have. But he never said a bad word to me about anybody. He showed everybody respect. And the one thing I ask is for that, I mean, he's one of those guys like Horse Collar and Wayne was. He loved the game. Wherever you guys shoot at, tournaments, leagues, money, whatever. Remember the love of the game, because that's what Steve wanted for all of us to have. Just a true aspect of it. Take care of your family like he tried to the best he could. That's all I got.
I ain't got a lot to say. I met Steve.
Come on up.
Stand up. Good evening, everybody. I honestly, this hurts me pretty hard. Me and Steve are very, very close up until he passed on me on Thursday. One thing I will say, like Shane said, he had a heart for the game. When I moved here in 2019, I didn't know anybody in this town. I met Steve Carr, and he said, "You got a good stroke, but you're just inconsistent." And he said, I got a few things I want to teach you. He said, "If you're willing to be one of my students," he said, "I'll give you my all if you give me your all." And I can't tell you how many times I've tried to be my own mentor in this game. And it's not easy. It can't be done. But like I said, he had a real big heart. And the last time I physically talked to him before he closed his eyes was on Monday. I seen him this past Monday, and I came by the Q shop, and he said, "Ray, I just don't feel good." He said, "My stomach hurt." He said, I'm gonna go to the doctor." I said, "Well, just keep me posted on how you feeling." I would stop by Southeast Q's every day before I go to work to see if he was hungry or if he needed anything. And then I was at work Thursday night, and I got the call from Killeen, Texas, from a friend of mine who used to be out here, Chris Kelso, and he called me to tell me that they gave Steve 36 hours to live. And I was trying to get a FaceTime with Miss Carolyn and that, but by the time they could get a hold of him, he was already gone. But one thing I will say, he's not suffering no more, and he's in a better place. And we just got to hold on to the good things that we have from him. And the one thing that he did for me that I'll treasure to the day I die is he helped me get my driver's license on January 8th of this past year. I've been without a license for over 21 years, and he helped me. He was like a father to me. If I needed something from him, I said, "Hey, Steve, can I borrow something here, Ray? If I got it, you got it." That's how it was. And it's hard to find people like that, because when you break somebody's trust, it's hard to get it back. You know what I mean? And on that note, I'm going to close, but just know I love him. And I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
I have something to say, but I really don't want to use the microphone, if that's okay. I've been friends, well, he's my brother. I'm gonna cry, so just know this. Alright. I moved here in 87. In 88 or 89, I hired Steve at Taco Bell. So, way back then, the store manager really didn't like him, and she made me fire him. So I fired Steve at Taco Bell. 2 years later, I ended up coming to Night Deposit, get a job, and lo and behold, it was my boss, Steve. So that was our running joke. I'm here to tell you guys, he has been the same person all throughout his life. He did everything he could for people there. He's done so much for a lot of us here. I know when I was having hard times, losing family members, he didn't have to say anything. All he had to do was give a hug. But I wish the best for all of you, as well as myself and my family. Me and two of my kids worked here, helped out Matt, Carolyn, and Steve when he needed it. But I pray for everybody here and for everybody not here. There's a lot of people that couldn't, but I also have an ask. Please, please keep Matt and Carolyn and family and Lisa in your prayers. You love Lisa to death. Y'all. y'all take a stroke on the pool table, you might just do that job that he gave you a little advice for. That's all I know. Y'all have a good
Does anybody else wish to come up and say anything?
I just want to say he's going to be hard to replace.
Yeah.
That's 10-4.
Amen.
I don't think it's possible.
They are replacing. I've never seen anybody that honest.
Somebody said he slept on the pool table.
He got a lot of pool playing. He loves pool.
Everyone in here probably has known him way longer than I have. But even the little time that I have known him, I know that he has a huge heart. He loves everyone. You know, I just know, just by the way he carried himself, he had a huge heart, and I know he did. So, that's all I can say.
My name is Donna, and I didn't know Steve that good, but what I do know about him, that he had a big heart, and if Nat and Carolyn needed anything, he was right there for them. And he will be missed. And y'all just keep everybody in your prayers and stuff. But I know he's looking up in heaven down on us, and he will know everybody that was here.
If there's nobody else, somebody's coming there.
A lot of y'all don't even know me. I'm not Carolyn's daughter. So, but like I hadn't been up here like years. But then, like when we lived here, moved away. But then Steve, that's no matter what, or no matter where we live, we're staying with Steve. Call Steve. Steve will do this, Steve will do that. But that is one thing. And I know my thing was we all live on borrowed time. Even though when he got sick, we thought we lost him before. But, I mean, we're here on earth on borrowed time anyway. I mean, we can walk outside in traffic and kill it. But the thing is, when I was thinking about this, is, I even had to do my note when I was sitting there when I called, do y'all think Steve knew how much y'all all appreciated him? I mean, I'm not doing judgment or anything. I'm just saying this.
No, he doesn't know.
So
He does know now.
Is I know when I've got to think, if I was to die tomorrow, what was my life? What did I stand for? Like, I want people to know, like, certain things. Well, everybody's been talking about how Steve gave, had a big heart, loving. Well, so if we hadn't learned anything from this while I was sitting there, then I know we have a tendency, even myself, to take people for granted. And like Mom and Matt, then he was like their son. I mean, they fussed at him like they fussed at us. And he did. But one thing, I never saw Steve. I know y'all probably have because y'all know him a whole lot better. But I never saw him get mad or even backtalk to him or anything like their family. And I know they probably may have taken him for granted too, not intentionally. And I know I'm guilty of that. But that is one thing on borrowed time. Look at all y'all. Okay, so if we care about the people, even in the room around, then maybe we should let people know. So I know that Steve knew we cared because he said he was blessed, like when I would see him, and about how, people took care of him. But that was one of my takeaway is maybe we need to let people know how we feel while we're right here, like sitting beside you or across the room, and appreciated each other. And also, and be with each other whenever, like through the grieving period. Because we're going to miss him, even though it's going to be sad. and your heart's going to be tore out, but then think about the good times. I mean, he is funny. I mean, some of the things he would say, I mean, he is, I mean, funny. You can't help but laugh at him.
You ain't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
Yes, but that is the things you need to remember is the good things and the laughter, because that's probably what he would want his life to mean. And so that's basically what I had to say, but I know that he's going to be missed. Where I know with my parents, I don't know, Anthony, ooh, you and a couple other people, y'all probably going to be getting the brunt of it, but definitely just keep the family in your prayers. And it was so nice of everybody to take care of him, where he would end up taking care of y'all.
Okay, here, I think you may read. Here you go. Here, I got it.
Yeah, at 3 a.m. we'll be walking up that sidewalk, you know. I always think.
Been coming up for almost 9 years.
Yeah.
And he was, when I was way young, I should have been made up here. He always watched out for us, taught me how to play pool, and the only thing he wanted was for me to stay out of trouble. That was the deal. He taught me how to play pool, and I stayed out of trouble, and I did not stay out of trouble.
So lost, Gary. We've done a lot of stuff together. I miss you truly. Still can't believe it's real. You're the best friend I've ever had. You helped me get clean and sober. I don't know what I would have done without you. I'd probably be dead myself.